This segment is being brought to you by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You can call us here at 615-737-7767. Well, Larry and I would be glad to take any call, and we'll try to answer to the best of our ability. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you, though. If we don't know, we don't know.
And this is kind of new ground for a lot of us.
And it is new ground,
yeah.
but we've been talking about the kayaks and canoes and how much we love the fact that everybody gets to use them. It is a very affordable, I believe, working man and woman's water vehicle, whatever you want to call it. But it's great to carry your family out. You can travel we have some of the most beautiful rivers in this state that you will ever come across, and you could go put that in and carry a picnic basket, and
you can go places where a big boat can't go. Shallows and little sloughs and little streams, places like that. And I think, Hugh, that's kind of what they originally intended for. Like I say, they weren't really intended to go across big, wide bodies of water. That's not.
But a lot of people, though, Larry, like you and I were talking about, well, they're purchasing them not to fish, but for exercise. Just something to do.
And it's fun.
It is.
But again, you can go places. It seemed to me to you the fun of that, if you're just kayaking for the fun of it and not to fish at all, it seemed like it'd be more fun to go back to sloughs and cuts and canals and places like that where the big boats can't go. That, to me, that would be the fun of having a kayak, not to paddle across a big body of water.
You're right.
But again, you know, my idea may not be their idea, but that would be the charm of kayaking, I think, to go into those little nooks and crannies and places like Reelfoot Lake where it's, you know, a foot and a half deep and you can scoot along in those places. To me, that would be the fun of it.
And I can't emphasize enough about the availability that we have to go to some of these rivers. Duck River is one of my favorite rivers in the whole wide world. Voted #1 cleanest river in all of the United States, and that says a lot right there. But
and again, it's scenic. You could enjoy a day on the Duck or the Buffalo and not take a fishing rod with you.
Well, we spoke to the about the Flowers Deer Processing Garden Center. Mike Flowers is from the Hickman County area. That's where his family is from, and that's where they live. And every year they invite us to come down there and go down there and we kayak and canoe the Duck River. And there is a set of bluffs there that you can't see unless you get in there by canoe or small boat or kayak, and it's called the Grandma Bluffs. They are gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It has a huge cave that you can go into right at the base of the bluffs. But great fishing, great scenery. There's a sandbar across from it that you can go up in and have a picnic. But there's more that you can do with a kayak, I believe, and canoes than just for exercise. You can carry a family and get them really interested, and that's the safe part of it. You still, I think, you need a personal flotation device. You need to be wearing it.
Yeah, they're required.
And I'm seeing, like you said, more and more people not wearing them. You know, they may be the best swimmer in the whole wide world, but you do not know what's under that water.
And again, it took a lot of people by surprise, the popularity explosion. The are not sure what the requirements are, and frankly, the TWRA still hadn't really had a chance to kind of catch up and get the information out exactly what the regulations are. It's
and it's some gray areas.
Yeah, and it's something they're going to have to address because, like I say, it caught them by surprise, I think.
Canoes have been around for years and years and years, though, and the kayak is just a plastic form, a more specialized form of a canoe. They do make them, oh my God, got them now where they got rod holders, they got 6 rod holders.
Live wells.
Live wells. They've got GPS and everything else. And so they've really upgraded, and you know, you're only limited to what your pocketbook can afford as far as a kayak. And,
at the outdoor show where you had your exhibit, they had great kayaks, like you say, everything from just the basic up to almost your widescreen TV.
Well, you got you've got 2 dealers here in the Nashville area. You got Hook One over there in Hendersonville that's got just hundreds of them, and then you got the Caney Fork Outdoors or Outfitters. Caney Fork Outfitters in Donaldson, and they're the same way. They got everything in the world you could use. So a couple of great dealers, people that work in there are knowledgeable. That's what they fish out of, and so you can just pretty much get anything you want to and design it for what you want to do. Just by talking to those folks.
But again, here I think a lot of maybe the designers never envisioned a time when people would be paddling a kayak across a big body of water at night. So,
No,
for example, I'm not sure where you would mount running lights. You know, the standard, like on your bass boat, where would you mount them on a canoe? I assume there's some way to do it because, you know, it's the law. But how would you do it? Again, that's one of those sort of gray areas that I don't know the answer to.
But I don't know that I've ever personally been told by a law enforcement official that yes, you can go canoeing, but no, you can't go after dark.
Where's your lights?
Where's your lights? Yeah. So we might need to clarify some of that, and I think you're right. I think TWRA is hard on trying to find
I would bet Ed Carter and
some
his
regulations to follow.
They're on it. And we'll be seeing press releases and announcements on the TWRA website, I'll bet, before the summer's over.
Hey, we've got some callers here. We got Richard. Richard, how can we help you tonight?
Well, I was just wanting to comment on that. The kayak and that lights too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they just they don't let they don't be made to have lights just like we do.
Right.
Anything's out in the water floating ought to have lights on.
That's what we agree. We're saying the same thing, but I will say I've been to Gander Mountain and a few other places. They do make you remember the flashlights that used to be you could park out?
Yes, sir, I got some of them.
Well, they make those also with the red and green also but I'm just wondering where you could position it.
And like we say, the definition of light is kind of vague.
That's vague. So
if you're out after dark and conditions with poor visibility, the regulations say they have to have a light on board. But again, what's the definition of light?
Yeah, and does the Coast Guard ruling come in like it does on bass boats and other boats? So
where they really spell it out on a big boat, you know,
they do.
The red light and the green light and how far it shines and that. And they hadn't got the kayak rules down quite that fine yet.
I think it took everybody by storm.
It did. Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, for that call.
All right.
Appreciate you. Bruce, how can we help you tonight?
Hey, this is Bruce. How you tonight?
Hey, buddy, you doing all right, Bruce?
No, doing fine. Hey, listen, you're talking about the lights. I run headlights on my boats, at night. Everybody else does too. But what about putting some reflective tape on them rather than lights? I mean, we can see the buoys a long ways down, on top of the buoys because they got reflective tape on them. We can see, we can see 150 yards ahead of us just with that reflective tape would help.
That's a great idea.
That'd be a good idea. I'd recommend both.
I would too.
The reflective tape and the lights.
You were speaking of the orange pennant flag, the fluorescent orange pennant flag that some of them have. Some of them do have reflective tape right there in the center of them.
Yeah.
So,
and again, that would help.
That would definitely help.
Be a help.
Definitely help. Bruce, you doing okay with the shoulder and everything?
I haven't had it worked on yet. That's next week to you.
All right, brother. We're going to keep you in our thoughts and prayers, and I want to see you taking off from work because you got a cast problem.
I heard that. I appreciate you.
I see you, Bruce. Thank you.
Bye.
And Ronnie, how can we help you tonight, Ronnie?
Yes, I want to know about, them trolling motors and lights and everything have to run on batteries and the weight of a person, about them too much weight in one of them kayaks going underwater.
Well, that can very well happen, and it does. It is a big concern. Now, most of the guys that are running the kayaks with the GPS and all that on them, Larry, they're carrying lawnmower batteries, the smaller versions.
And again, here it's like you said, they come in all kinds of sizes. They have 2-seaters, maybe even have 3-seaters. They got compartments where you can store gear and stuff. One of them at the show had a live well in it. So, so if you get a big size kayak, there'd be plenty of room to put for a motor.
And some of them are using those lawnmower batteries in them, and because they don't need to run 3 units and a 36-volt trolling motor and all that, so they can get by with the little lawnmower batteries.
But there would be space for a battery.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what he's asking about.
Yes,
space.
there is space for a battery, so you can easily hook them up. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we got Michael. Michael, how can we help you tonight?
Yes, I was wanting to voice an opinion on the fact that I agree with you 100% that we do need these lights and things for safety on these kayaks, but they have got specialty kayaks designed for open water.
Oh, yeah.
I have a 14-foot saltwater kayak at my house right now, and they're low on the water, but they are designed for open water fishing, and I think that's where you're getting a lot of that from.
I think you're right, too.
Now, I've seen where they're adding LED lights inside the hull of the kayak to light the entire kayak up like a pumpkin.
Well, that's not bad
That's not a
either.
bad idea.
And it's real cheap to do. It's just taped on LED lights that run through the hull, and when you flip the switch on, the whole kayak itself lights up.
Like a big lightning bug
One of the best
floating around
things
on the
they've ever
water.
come up with for these things.
Yeah, the good thing is what we're trying to find out is because we know TWRA is working on some new rules and regulations, okay, for kayaks, and it's just purely for safety reasons, nothing else.
Right. And I agree
But the
with
thing
every
is
bit of it. And Jack Attack and companies like this for bow lights,
Oh, yeah.
lights,
Yeah.
and reflective flagpoles and things like that, so they're on their way to anticipating all this stuff.
And Hugh, it sounds like our caller might know more about the light
Yeah, I think so,
regulation
too.
than us. Out of curiosity, you have an open water, big water kayak. What is the regulation about running lights at night on a large kayak
On a
like yours?
14-foot ocean kayak.
Yeah, it's they're not really specific on regulations as per se, but I think the companies are actually anticipating this to happen, so they already have lighting kits and things like that in place. If people just, go to the right companies like Yak Attack and Scotty and companies like this, they can get stuff specifically designed for a kayak that has bow lights, stern lights, the red and green, And like I said, they even got LED lighting systems to light the whole hull up.
I tell you what, Mike, we got to move along. We got a break coming up, but I thank you very much for that info and help us out. Email us, let us know some things that are changing, and we'd love to put them on the show.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It sounds like the technology is scrambling to catch up.
It's scrambling to catch up
with
too.
the demand.
Hey, we got to do our tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Davidson County Farmers Co-op, right there on Dickerson Road. Go check it out. Old Scott's out there. He's got all those fine folks out there that are willing to help you in any way they can. Great place that he's got. This week's tip is I want to revert back to because it is such a boom. There's a lot of people buying them. I promise you, I know for a fact that Hook One does this. I know for a fact that Caney Fork Outfitters does this. Why don't you take time? They have these demo kayaks. Find you a kayak or a canoe that fits you. I think there is as personable as the type of personal flotation device you want to use. So check them out.
Depends on what you need it for.
It's what you need. What is your usage going to be? What are you intending? And then go try them out and see which one feels good, fits better, doesn't hurt your back, whatever the case may be. But you owe it to yourself to go check them out. Hey, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a recipe in just a minute.